back to The Last of Us. First episode was quite good. Fingers crossed they can keep the momentum going. Jakarta, Indonesia, September 24th. Okay, so this is right before the outbreak, and they mentioned Jakarta on the radio in the first episode. Well, that would be unsettling. No doubt I would ask, can I finish my food first? Or take it to go?
Maaf, sudah mengganggu makan siang. Tidak apa-apa.
There is a need. You ruined my lunch. I am upset when it comes to food-related things. I feel a little stupid right now. I'm just going to take a best guess and say mycology is the study of fungus. I actually don't know. I like to pretend to be smart, but I can't always pull it off.
Ibu mungkin
Pendapat berat yang saya butuhkan.
I actually kind of appreciate that he's like, no, just let her draw her own conclusions. When too many people put in their input before someone's taken a look at it themselves, it almost always taints like how you view something.
Cordyceps tidak bisa bertahan pada manusia.
Yeah, you see about that.
Kaki kiri bagian bawah, Bu.
He's like, don't pay attention to the gunshot. Look at the other thing. They've done a great job with like the veiny tendrils underneath the skin and everything of all the fungus. It's nasty. I don't know if I'm gonna like what I see. I didn't like what I saw. Ew. Oh god, the thought of like all that fungus just growing under your skin. Ugh. Oh my god. That like really hits a nerve for me. Ew. Ew, it's still alive. Ew, ew. Yep, I'm out. I'm with you, girl. Get the fuck out of there. Ew, ew. I've played the games too. I feel like the games were not nearly as overt with the fungus and the infection as the show has been.
Di pabrik tepung dan gabah di barat kota.
Lahan yang sempurna untuk itu.
Oh, are they saying the fungus is in the flour? I mean, if that's the case, that's a kind of a good explanation as to why it spread so fast without spores. So many people eat like bread and grain products, though. I feel like that would also just infect everybody. You'd have like 2 people who didn't eat bread.
Lalu pekerja yang lain bagaimana?
I mean, how did the first person get infected with this? Was it just the flour?
Dan tidak ada vaksin.
Jadi apa yang harus kami lakukan?
Is there really no kind of like antifungal they could try?
Bom.
Oh, Jesus.
Saya hanya ingin bersama dengan keluarga, dengan suami dan anak-anak saya.
Jesus Christ, man. I don't particularly like delving away from the main narrative of Ellie and Joel for too long, but that was a pretty interesting, like, cold open in Jakarta, seeing, I guess, ground zero for the whole infection. And it sort of explains how it spreads, too. It's, it can grow in, like, flour and grain products, which I would assume, you know, is how it spreads so fast, as opposed to just bites. Wow, that's a really pretty shot. With the butterfly and everything. They've done such a good job with, like, set design on this show. I don't know if I've ever seen a post-apocalyptic thing that looks this good in terms of, like, how overgrown and destroyed everything is. Oh, hey. She's pretty obviously not infected, guys. This kind of bothered me in the game, too, whenever they were just like, ooh, I'm like, she's clearly not infected, so... Exactly.
I have to pee.
Test you.
Ellie, don't be a smartass. Just answer the questions.
Count to 10 and hold out my hand and then keep it steady. But you know, I think what really impressed him was the fact that I didn't turn into a fucking monster.
That's That's the main point that I believe is the most important.
She made it through the fucking night.
It doesn't matter. It's gonna happen sooner or later.
What do you mean? When has this ever happened to anybody else? Everyone turns within a day, correct? Come on, man.
Is our best shot.
This kid like she's got some kind of life in front of her.
Ouch. Good setup, though, for the story that they, are going to have. I mean, I'm sure their jerky's probably something awful, like the horse jerky or something. This bitch is over here eating a whole-ass sandwich.
Is it? Or until they get it from smugglers. Guess not you guys.
Ooh, you kind of asking for it, Ellie.
I've heard this a million times. Vaccines, miracle cures. None of it works, ever.
Fuck you, man. I didn't ask for this.
You and me both. This isn't gonna
Right
be
out of the
like
game.
this.
Nice.
We need to go back.
I mean, they have made a point on this show twice now that there are no vaccines, no cures for this type of fungal infection.
Say if they believe that she is, then
So I wonder if there are going to be changes to be made later on. It's like, whatever, dude. I guess.
Can I have a gun?
Absolutely not.
Okay, Jesus, fine. I'll just throw a fucking sandwich at them.
Again, even the dialogue that isn't right from the game, it really does sound like the characters. They've done a great job with that.
Whoa.
Man, they've done a really good
it's
job.
different in the daylight, huh?
Long way or short way?
I mean, it's the long way or the we're fucking dead way.
Well, I vote long way, just based on that limited information.
Yeah, honestly, I would say long way as well.
First.
So it was just you in there alone?
No,
Yeah.
liar.
Not exactly like that.
You know, people like to tell stories.
I mean, in the game, there are quite a bit of infected in the cities.
Shit, I hope not.
Or ones with split open heads that see in the dark like bats.
Those definitely exist. Oh, there's one right now. Aw, look at the little ducks. So they're gonna move the hotel scene to here instead of in Philadelphia?
You gotta be kidding me.
No, smart ass. I mean,
I don't know how I was supposed to know that.
Their banter is pretty good already. Obviously not very friendly yet, but, we'll get there. Ah, yes, please tell me they're gonna do this.
Ding, ding. Yes, sir, I would like your
Nice.
finest sweet, please. Yeah,
you're a weird kid.
You're a weird kid. Oh, fuck! Yep. Fucking fabulous.
Fucking fabulous. That makes me very happy to see that they are taking lots of like little dialogue bits or scenes from actual gameplay, not even just cutscenes.
Holy shit.
Come on, it wasn't that bad.
We try climbing 10 fucking floors with our knees.
I mean, my knees get worse every year, so I feel that.
No, well, I'm the smallest, so it'd be easier for me to get through.
But you die and you get nothing. You stay. You give me a hand?
Guaranteed there'll be a moment later in the show where, Joel's gonna need her to climb through a pretty small space. At least, I mean, that happened in the game, so.
Where'd you learn to do that?
The circus.
Don't be an asshole.
Texas,
What about Tess?
Detroit. It's in Michigan.
I go to school, I know where Detroit is.
Again, stop being an asshole. I didn't know that Tess was from Detroit, though. Whoa, okay, that's a lot of infected. They all just sleeping? What are they doing? They're all just hanging out?
There's so many. They're connected.
More than you know.
Oh, really?
The fungus also grows underground. You
Shit.
step on a patch of cordyceps in one place, and you can wake a dozen infected from somewhere else.
That's very different than the game.
Now they come.
So we're not going that way.
No.
So it's the we're fucking dead way?
Short way?
Sure to be some fun in here. don't know if I like the infected are connected through like this network thing. It just reminds me of Stranger Things a lot, and I'm like, I feel like if you had done the spores, it was truly unique. Now it feels a little bit too much like Stranger Things, but yeah.
Well, then I guess it's fine. I have a spare hand.
Congratulations.
Don't worry, Ellie, you'll get your gun just later. Ah, nice. There's like some things in here that are also like direct pulls from the game.
Finally, some fucking luck.
I guess we should have gone this way in the first place.
I wouldn't count your chickens just yet.
Oh, shit.
Not quiet. Silent.
What?
No question.
Ellie, shut up.
Let's do it.
I don't particularly see why they wouldn't tell her why she should be quiet. Again, it's like, we're downstairs at the moment. There's clearly nothing right here. Let me just quickly explain to you what a clicker is. Or at least that's what I'm assuming is in here, unless they have like a new type of infected. They've done such a good job with like dressing this set with all the dead fungus and bodies and everything. It's absolutely disgusting, but it's very well done. Oh shit. Kind of a neat little callback to the game as well. Yes, dude. Oh, please, please, please. No shit. Oh, of course there's more than one. Of course there is. The movements look very good from what I've seen. The sounds are perfect. Oh, shit. Ah, dude, that looks so good. That looks really good. Fuck. Okay, time to go, time to go. And the movements of the clickers are, like, perfect. That is exactly what they look and sound like. They're also doing a really good job making them extremely difficult to kill. Because, yeah, they're tough. It's definitely going to be right there. Little close there. God damn it. Well. Let's go time. Come on, Joel. Headshot. Go for a headshot. Oh, that works too. Oh, I forgot there were two. Dude, the tension during that scene was insane. That was really good. I can pleasantly say they could not have done the clickers any more perfectly.
Twisted ankle.
I mean, if it was gonna happen to one of us.
That's different. She never got bitten twice.
Hey,
Not in the first
let's get
game.
the fuck out of here.
There?
Yeah, I know, looks scary.
That was scary. This is wood.
Also right from the game.
Just wait there. Give us a minute.
So we'll deal with it then.
Yeah, I'm assuming a certain thing has already happened to Tess.
I like to think for once maybe we could actually win. Just go and watch her.
That's also a little different. I feel like in this scene in the game, she got kind of upset with him because he was getting closer to Ellie. And she's like, hey, like, snap out of it, dumbass. Like, get your head in the game. Here it's sort of the reverse. She's like, can you just, like, be hopeful for one fucking time, dude? Like, Jesus.
Jury's still out.
But man, you can't deny that view.
That is a good view. A very familiar one. There's certain like little details they'll pull straight from the game too that I think are really important, and they're nailing them. Like just that moment there where Joel looks at his watch after having that little moment with Ellie. Are you okay?
Holy shit.
Yep, they're all dead.
Oh. One of them got bit.
Oh,
The healthy ones fought the sick ones. Everyone lost. Tess,
that's different.
what are you doing? Show me.
Aw. It's kind of sad he went for his gun right there. Even bitten in the exact same spot.
All the shit we did.
I mean, yeah, after all the things you guys did, that would be a pretty good way to atone for it all. What's going on? Oh, it's alerting the other ones. Great. Ew, right under its nail. Ah! Okay, so it's not Fedra that's the problem, it's just gonna be the infected. Which I suppose makes sense, that's sort of the focal point of this episode, it's the title. Oh,
What are you doing?
Making sure that they don't follow you.
that'll do it. That'll really do it, damn.
We're not leaving her! Get off me, you fucker! Not going with you!
Ah, that's so sad, man. Don't be so nihilistic that her sacrifice won't even, like, matter. What is happening? Ew, ew, ew. What the fuck, dude? What are we doing here? Infected, don't do that. Infected, don't do that. At least she got it to work. What the hell was that kiss, though? Not a fan of that. I'd say her being able to take all the infected out with that big-ass explosion is a much more, like, impactful way to go than it was in the game. I also think her speech there at the end was better than it was in the game. Yeah, it's gonna be a rough journey, Ellie. This is just the start. Nice. That was very good. I feel like the episode's a little tainted by the weird infected kiss there at the very end, but overall, I thought that was very, very solid. Alright, let's discuss. The opening, like, 10 minutes was the Jakarta sequence, where you see this mycology university professor get, like, pulled out of a restaurant so she can inspect what this new cordyceps fungus is doing to humans. And I liked the whole sequence. I thought it was a really interesting, like, side bit to see where it all started, to explain how it spread so fast through bread and everything. And on a second watch through, I noticed Joel and Tess are eating jerky while Ellie is eating a sandwich with bread. And I don't know if it actually means anything, but it could genuinely be like, oh, well, she's immune, so she can eat bread, whereas the rest of humanity has had to go on like a keto diet. Are you able to eat bread on keto? I actually don't really know. Her reaction to bomb everything and everyone, I don't know, seemed a little extreme for drama's sake, just because, you know, it sounds more intense. But I still keep thinking, I'm like, but there are antifungals that we use now, like when we have an actual fungal infection. So to just immediately assume that there can be no cure, there can be no vaccine, I'm like, maybe not a vaccine or a cure in those words, but I feel like you could potentially come up with some sort of like antifungal agent to either kill it before it grows or, you know, like burn it out of a human kind of thing. I don't know, it seemed like a dramatic reaction, but I'm also not a scientist, and I don't know if what I just said is not correct. I just don't really enjoy taking such a long diversion from Ellie, Joel, and Tess. However, almost everything with Joel, Ellie, and Tess, I have like nothing to complain about. The opening scene of them discussing, her immunity and how there's this base out west. It's basically just a scene from the game that is extended and just placed in a different location at a different time of day. I do feel like they've made Ellie a little more standoffish than she was in the game, at least at this point. Because in the game, she had her moments where she was, kind of a smartass and everything. But here she seems to kind of revel in being a dick to Joel and Tess sometimes. But she also shows some clear kindness in other moments, so I don't think they've dramatically made her a total asshole or anything. But she does seem a bit more standoffish than she was in the game. Even though it's a slight change, I really like seeing the hotel sequence here just kind of repositioned. It's in a different location, and now Tess is a character to kind of be in the scene as well. Although she doesn't really do anything, it still plays out the same way that it does in the game, with Joel and Ellie having that little moment where she's, pretending to check into the hotel.
Yes, ma'am. Right away, ma'am.
You're a weird kid.
You're a weird kid. Oh, fuck.
Which was very cute. And I really liked their conversation after that when Tess left them for a moment, just because you can see both of them don't like each other. There is a lot of tension between the two, a lot of stubbornness on both of their parts, but each of them is starting to kind of crack and be like, there's something about this other person that I am sort of connecting with a little bit, but it's very, very faint at the moment. I really enjoyed it. I thought both the actors did a very good job. And it was really nice to see how Tess was definitely becoming a mother figure for Ellie throughout this episode, even a little bit towards the end of the previous one, which does make it all the more heartbreaking that, she dies at the very end and Ellie is left with the person who wanted to shoot her and not take care of her and, protect her and all that. The museum sequence was, I don't want to say perfect because rarely are things perfect, but goddamn, man. The set design, the sound design, the acting, the way the tension built up and then exploded with the whole clicker sequence. That shit was good. And there are a lot of little moments or Easter eggs kind of plopped in the whole scene from the game, but it's not a one-for-one rip either, so I was truly, engaged. I didn't know exactly how this was all going to play out. The only thing I was able to know for sure happened here was I'm sure off-screen Tess was bitten like she was in the game. And goddamn, the prosthetics and the makeup they did on the clickers, I know some of it was CGI in some shots, but I know in some shots it was also definitely all real, and it looked damn good. And then the whole ending sequence in the Capitol building, I'd say half of it is extremely faithful to the game, and then the other half makes a fairly large deviation, but ultimately results in the same thing. Where it really starts changing is just when, through the connected network of fungus are the other infected alerted of their presence. Which I still don't know how I feel about that, to be perfectly honest. In a way, it makes sense. I mean, fungus can communicate across, miles and miles of giant underground networks and forests and everything. But it's the whole thing, it's living tendrils that sort of, I guess, gives them instructions they're over here. It just seems a little fantasy for me, I suppose. And everything else here is very, very science-based. Sci-fi based, I suppose you could say. And I am vastly not a fan of Tess's final moments with the infected. Again, I like that she got to go out with a bang, quite literally. Much more of a bang than she did in the game, where I think she killed 2 Fedra guys and then just got shot to death. And then Joel and Ellie still had to fight all the other Fedra people anyways, so it felt rather pointless in the game, to be honest. Here it felt like she did genuinely save them at least. I just did not like the the deep throat tendrils kiss, like that was far too sexual and weird for me. Again, in the game and at this point in the show, they have never shown the infected to be intimate in that kind of way. I suppose the reasoning is that she was so close to turning already that they like recognized her as one of their own and, you know, infected her in a quote unquote kinder way than biting her, I suppose. But I don't know, that just, it adds a kind of sentience to the fungus that seems kind of funky to me. So I'm not a fan of that. I hope they don't do anything like that again on the show. That was just a one-off, like, you know, artsy way to send off Tess. I wasn't a huge fan of that. But everything else was really, really good. Production-wise, I'm really floored by the show, honestly. Like, the production level of the sets and props and everything like that, it is kind of insane how good it looks. Far beyond my expectations for what this show would have been, so I am a happy camper in that regard. And narrative-wise, they are being very faithful. Even the deviations they make seem to lead to the same results, so the story is staying the same. And even though I'm not the biggest fan of, you know, the Stranger Things-ish connected network of infected, it does add something new to it, like to the show at least, in terms of what people might expect from the game. And it does make some kind of sense when it comes to fungus, you know, communicating over long distances. So if that's their answer to not having spores, okay, I will roll with that. And that gives this episode a 9.1 out of 10. And I think it's deserved. Again, for my gripes on the show, I realize I'm probably just a little extra harsh on certain things because I have such an affinity for the games and I just loved them so much. Like, I've played each of them at least 4 or 5 times. Like, I truly love that story, the narrative, the characters, that world. So to see deviations, it sometimes will irk me a little bit. In this case, though, it wasn't really the deviations that bothered me. It was just some of the choices. Like, spending the first 10 minutes in Jakarta, while interesting and was a great sequence, it felt disjointed from the narrative to me, and I didn't particularly like taking that diversion. And I also really did not like the change of, you know, the tendril deep throat kiss thing. That is just gross and weird and way too sexual for me. Not a fan. I'm sure there are plenty of artsy, directorial ways to explain that scene. I don't care. It was weird and sexual and gross, but I didn't like it. But aside from those two things, the rest of the episode was really stellar, I think. The clickers were mega super highlight for me. That whole sequence just really like brightened up my day, honestly. Because that's something you want them to get right from the game, you know? Like, the clickers are one of the iconic staples of The Last of Us. And if they had fucked it up, it would have been similar to them, you know, fucking up the character of Ellie or something. It's going to be hard to kind of overcome it. But they nailed it so perfectly. I can't wait to see more clickers show up later. Like, that was great. And they didn't have any weird tendril kisses, so cool. I am very excited for the next one, which must be, you know, the Bill and Frank episode. So I will see you all then, and that's about it.